Well, the West Virginia Mountaineers have finally made another move, it seems, in the transfer portal, and it's a big one, man. A blue blood transfer could possibly be heading to Morgantown. West Virginia's also made the top five for a four-star quarterback. We got a lot to get to, man, and I'm excited.
You are Locked On West Virginia, your daily podcast on the West Virginia Mountaineers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And what is up? Welcome back in, guys. My name is Mountaineer Paul. I'm the host around here, and this is Locked On West Virginia. Thank you guys so much for being here. I appreciate it so much. I really can't tell you guys how much I've been looking forward to doing this episode today. I had to go to my nephew's graduation, and that was an experience in all and of itself. So, you got to give time to the family, man. I've learned that over the time that I've been doing this, because at times, if you guys can't tell, I can become a tad bit obsessive when it comes to doing this job, which is fine. It's just not always the best thing for my family. So anyways, on this episode of Locked On West Virginia, happy Thursday to you and yours, by the way. Going to be brought to you by FanDuel. I might as well go ahead and get that out of the way. Right now, new customers can get $200 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins, but you can only do that at FanDuel, guys, and do it today. Thanks for making Locked On West Virginia your first listen. So we got that going on. Now, Kansas transfer obviously is looking at West Virginia. I went and reached out to a couple people about this because I got a direct quote here I'm going to read here shortly from the guy over at Locked On Jayhawks. And he does an excellent job over there. He's a real beat writer. He's not that I'm a YouTuber. I'll admit that. I don't write on the side. I mean, I do, but not professionally, I guess you would say. And this guy does for Kansas and knows a lot about that program. So we'll talk about that as well. Legend Bay has also named West Virginia in his top five, which is a huge deal. We all want Legend Bay to be our next quarterback. I think if you've watched him at all, you would agree. So we've got a lot to get to here, guys. But we're going to start with what's the more immediate news, because obviously Legend Bay's not till next year anyways. If it was this year, I don't know which one would be first. But this is a big deal because West Virginia needs to continue to fill out this roster. We got a couple more spots that are open. We obviously need a big man, and I think that's coming down the pipe as well. But what about another wing player? Some people would say we don't need another wing player, but this one's different. If you can get, it's kind of like what some GMs say in the NFL draft. Sure, do I need a left tackle? Yeah, but sometimes you just take the best player available. I think this could be, outside of some of the NBA draft guys, one of the best players available from an upside perspective, from a impact perspective, from a lot of perspectives. So who am I talking about? It's Rake Passmore, a 6'5", 185-pound shooting guard / wing who was a true freshman at Kansas last year, who played. I mean, there are highlights of him playing there. He was a four-star recruit in the 2024 class, ranked number 42 overall by On3, number 48 by 247, and number 49 by Rivals. He was the number 14 small forward and number 4 player in the state of North Carolina. Pretty big deal. Kansas, Duke, name it, they wanted him. He played at A.C. Reynolds High School in Asheville before Combine Academy in Lincolnton, in North Carolina, his senior year, where he averaged 19 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, and a couple steals a game. He chose Kansas over LSU, Oklahoma, Mississippi State, Wake Forest, Oregon, Indiana, North Carolina, Duke, and others, praising Coach Bill Self for his development and track record, and did have a limited role as a freshman, and was told that he would be on the fringe of the starting lineup this upcoming year, is what I'm told. So he decided to go ahead and move on. So as far as who's looking at this kid, we're told South Florida, Alabama, West Virginia, Seton Hall are the main 4 that are going to be involved here, at least at this point in time. If you want to talk about scouting reports, Adam Finkelstein had a great one. Passmore is a strong athletic wing, a major threat in transition when he runs the floor. He runs it hard, and he can rise up for explosive finishes that can immediately change the momentum of a game. He's a downhill, straight line runner who doesn't have a ton of wiggle to his game, but can go through contact. He made strides as a shooter and has become capable from three with room with room and rhythm to improve. He's also a projectable defender with a real chance to become a weapon on that end of the floor because how he can get low in his stance, slide his feet laterally, and absorb contact in the upper body. And I have to agree with that. He's an explosive leaper. This is from what I say. He's an explosive leaper with a 6'5" frame that is really ideal for a modern wing, right? You got to have strength as a modern wing, and modern wings finish through contact. That's one of the things that he does really well, and he is a highlight reel dunker. We're going to show that. He was very good in high school, averaging 22 points, 19 points in different places. Once the competition went up, he went down to 19. But, I mean, on defense, he's lengthy. He's got quickness. He's got instincts. He's got great hands. He's multi-positional. He can go 1 through 3. He plays passing lanes well, and I think he has the tools to be a lockdown defender with coaching and possibly a 3-and-D guy because he's got a good jump shot. So he's aggressive, too. He's got a competitive mindset, loves to scream, loves to get loud when he makes plays. A lot like Eric Stevenson in some ways as far as like how he emotes on the floor. And scouts have likened him to Agbaji, a Kansas first-round pick who had athleticism, transition scoring, and defensive tools. So, this is a kid that does have first-round potential. He does. He just he's got to put it all together, though, is the thing. So he had a good bond with Bill Self, from what I'm told. But and that's probably why he entered the portal, because he was honest with him, right? And that's fine. I mean, this day and age, you got to – unfortunately, the way you build rosters these days is you have to have an old roster with players that have played a lot of games to compete in today's college basketball. The days of freshmen making up the starting 5 in college basketball team are pretty much over, guys. I mean, you might see it every now and then at a team like Kentucky or something, but very rare. And definitely not now with who they got there now. Maybe at Arkansas you might see it now. So, I think here's the thing. At Kansas, he played 5 minutes a game, and he didn't play a lot on a team that wasn't very good, really. I mean, compared to normal Kansas years, he averaged out 1 point a game. He did have a season high 5 points in one November game, 0.6 rebounds per game, 0.3 assists per game. His field goal shooting numbers really aren't going to be a great indicator of what he can do. He just had minimal steals, minimal blocks, minimal opportunities while he was there. So I dug into his high school tape because I thought, well, here's the thing, man. There's got to be a reason he was at Kansas. There's got to be a reason he was so highly lauded. And boy, did I find it. We're going to watch the tape. But West Virginia still needs, I think, in my opinion, athletic, versatile wings to offset. We need somebody that can come and play elite defense. And this kid, after having a year in Kansas, has a chance to be that. We're going to get to this hot piss meter first before we move on to the tape. Out of 50, this is my evaluation, okay? Athleticism and physical tools, I gave him a 9.3 out of 10. He's a strong, athletic dude with an explosive finishes. He can bounce his head off the rim. He's got very good speed. He's 6'5". And I think, if he develops at West Virginia, the sky's the limit, literally the limit for him. Offensive potential is 8.6 out of 10. He averaged 19 points a game. He had a couple 30-point games in high school. He's a very capable 3-point shooter. And I think he's got room to improve. He's got a lot of promise. So we'll see what he can do there. Defensive impact is where I think he's going to make his mark first. It's just 9.2 out of 10 on defense for me. You guys have seen me do a lot of these. I don't throw out huge scores. A lot of my scores are 39, 40, so because this is out of 50, by the way, for a lot of people that are asking. And anything over 41 is elite, for me. Finkelstein's, obviously talked about him as how he projects as that defender who can get low, slide laterally, absorb contact. And he really does have near elite potential on that end of the floor. Fit with West Virginia, I've got it an 8.9 out of 10 because of his strong transition scoring, his defensive versatility. I think it aligns with Ross Hodges' fast-paced defensive system, because they want to get down and dirty on defense, even though we've added some of these high paced threats on offense. This would be a great defensive wing to bring in to make an impact. Um, Upside and development's 9.4 out of 10. This is a top 50 recruit with 3 years remaining. He's already being compared to NBA talents like Agbaji. He went to Kansas. Obviously, there's a developmental history there at Kansas, so he's probably been developed really well there for a total composite hot piss score of 45.4 out of 50. I think he would be a blazing hot addition to West Virginia, a red hot prospect who could set Morgantown ablaze possibly in the next year or two. Hopefully it would be this year, but I think, his best would be in front of him. And right away he would come in and make a defensive impact and definitely be a rotational piece that can maybe by the end of the year is you're talking about, holy cow, this redshirt freshman or the sophomore, I don't know which one he is yet, is coming on and possibly the best player on the team. Like he's got that possibility in him. So I think that the 45.4 score reflects his elite tools from a defensive perspective. I think, he's got some shooting concerns, but I think that they're fixable. And then he's got limited college tape, but we're going to watch the high school tape to show you what I'm talking about. So it's time to read the quote that I have here. This is from Locked On Jayhawks, and I encourage you guys to go and check him out because he does a great job over there. So this is what he said. Awesome upside. Kansas fans were sad to lose him and not get more time in his development. He was far from ready last year, though I don't know how good he'd be this year either. I think he could be a rotational guy, but as like a junior or senior, he could be a real baller. He's smooth, he's athletic, he's a scoring wing. He was a solid defender on ball, but would sometimes make mistakes and had a very short leash with Bill Self, and that would get him benched. At times, it seemed like the game was too fast, but those are things players get better at as they get older. He didn't do any favors in terms of the very little production combined with the occasional mistake when he was even on the court, but also Self kind of screwed him up, in my opinion, and had him overthinking a lot. He complained about guys needing to come in and get ready to shoot, and then when he would come in, he would shoot and immediately get benched. So it sounds like it was best that they parted ways because 5 minutes a game, you're never going to find out what you got with 5 minutes a game. There's no way. It's an impossibly short leash. And like I said, when we watch the tape here in a minute, you'll see what I mean. Last thing he said is, I know the big thing for him is he wants playing time. Self supposedly told him he'd be a fringe rotational guy that'd have to work his way into it with a strong offseason, and his camp wanted a bit more, certainly. So if you had playing time to offer, West Virginia would make sense. Thank you so much to my dude from Locked On Jayhawks for that breakdown, and I think it makes a ton of sense. Let's go to break really quick. When we come back, we'll watch the tape of this athletic phenom, and I don't say that lightly. This kid can really get after it, and I see exactly why a guy like Ross Hodge would be excited about him. We'll watch that next. And this episode of Locked On West Virginia going to be brought to you by FanDuel, guys. When we talk about FanDuel, obviously we know about that $200 in bonus bets. But right now, the NBA playoffs are in full swing, and every night is going to deliver highlight-worthy performances, major momentum shifts, and can't-miss moments. Whether it's a game-winning shot, a breakout player, there's never been a better time to get in on the action, Because right now, FanDuel makes it easy to stay in the game before tip and live. With player props, performance trends, and same-game parlays, fans have more ways than ever to play smart and win big. If you've got a read on who's heating up, why not back that thing up, man, with same-game parlay today? And also, how could a $200 bonus in bets add to the excitement if your first $5 bet hits? You got $200 free dollars to play with. If you're new to FanDuel, it's the perfect time to sign up. Head to FanDuel.com and place your first $5 bet. If it wins, that's $200 in bonus bets. Make every moment more today with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NBA. It's segment 2, and it's a code red. Crack-a-doo segment, as we're going to watch some tape on what I consider to be a very good basketball player, But the fun's not going to end there because we're going to watch some legend-based stuff too. If you haven't seen any tape on this kid, just prepare yourself. Very, very, very fun kid to watch play. So let's get to it. Rake Passmore is just a fun to watch play.
We wouldn't settle for bait, man.
Let's turn that volume off and skip. So here we go. This is Rake Passmore. For those of you listening on podcast, I'll try to make it as best I can for you. Here he is tipping his own rebound to himself. He plays like a man amongst boys at that level. As you can see, very hyped up right there. Let's get back to it. So here he is from three. As you can see, a pretty nice looking shot. Let's break that one down really quick from three. I like the release. There's some of the athleticism we like to talk about. Sorry, guys, I'm messing up here. Look at that dunk. Big time dunk in the lane. So here's the three-point shot. He puts the left foot behind the right, which is interesting. It's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just not everybody does it. And then you can see the follow-through and release is pretty good. Pretty good. Definitely some room for improvement, but I can see what the people like about it. And here he is on defense, just absolutely smothering somebody. And this is what I was telling you guys about. I went and looked up this kid he's playing against. This kid went to a group of five school. So he's a Division I basketball player. And watch how he swallows him up on defense here. This is elite defense. And look, he's not even doing a great job staying in front of him. It's the length. It's the athleticism. He doesn't have to be at his best to stay in front of somebody. Watch this defense, man. This is so fun to watch. Tried to cross him over, tried to get him back the other way. Nope. Block. I mean, it's like he's playing against 5-year-olds there. Here he is on the pump fake and creative finish at the rim. Here he is from three again. Beautifully done. Look at the shot. Elbows poking out just a little bit. But, I mean, that's a pretty good-looking shot. And the release, and it's a swish. So beautifully done there. As you can see, he loves to go right, finishing through contact really good. And that was a big kid here. This is what, a 6'8" guy right here on top of him. Watch him finish through the contact. So he kind of creates the contact, leans into it a little bit here, and then goes right to the rim and finishes through the contact and gets an and one. You love to see that too. So here he is on defense again with that excellent length, which I like to see. So nice timing on the jump, right? Nice timing on the jump, and then he also gets his own deal there. Here he is. I mean, just a very smooth athlete, right, guys? Nothing too flashy, but he jumps from just in front of the free throw line, glides through the air, and a dunk, right? Very beautifully done. It wasn't like he was trying there. And here's something you see him do a lot from triple threat stance. See, here he is in triple threat stance, even though there's players in the way. He uses that triple threat stance to jab step to try to create space. You see him do that a lot on tape. I went and watched a couple games. But as you can see, what it does, he got the space he needed there to pull this shot off. He does that a lot on tape. So his blow by is what gives him the ability to do that because he's a threat to run by people. Here he is coming off the screen in the middle of the lane. Nice finish at the rim. By the way, this is at one of the best academies in North Carolina. So he's playing amongst a bunch of other very nice pass. Oh, that's another thing on his tape. If you go watch his portal footage on tape on YouTube, I can't show it because it's too much ESPN. I would get flagged. But he has an entire almost his whole reel at Kansas is assists. So he really is a good with assists. Here he is on the crossover and finishing over what looks to be at least a 6'10" kid. Let's see, he's 6'5", right? So I mean, this kid's over a head taller than him, and he's got at least 6'10", 6'9". Let's watch that again. So crossover to the right, goes into the lane, and as you can see, look at that. That's a beautiful finish, using the offhand to shield the ball away from a very lengthy defender and put that thing up with one hand, not even hitting the backboard, all net. You look at people in the background. Do you see this? Look at everybody in the background, man. That's funny. People are doing this in the background. Pretty cool. Well, they're doing this. Okay. I get it now. I thought people were shocked. Very, very good athlete, though, guys. So, obviously, in my opinion, I think there's a lot to work with here from West Virginia, from a West Virginia perspective. Um, I could see why he wouldn't play at Kansas right away, too. Like, I definitely see some of the rawness in his game, especially here, but goodness gracious. Do we have one guy on the roster that can do this? I don't know. Not that flashy dunks mean much, but I mean, as you can see, like, here's a step back. This is a nice little step back. It's not anything crazy. It's really a side step. But I mean, he's got the potential to grow into something really special. That's kind of a step back. It's more of a side step, but whatever. It's still similar mechanically, right? He's got a smooth jump shot. So, and he can, here he is going left. There's a nice pass. So he does a little bit of everything as a guard, right? Of course, in the Big 12, he's just going to be a bit, just a touch over average. But here he is on defense again. I think that's in my opinion. Like I said, guys, this is where he's going to come in and make the largest impact, in my opinion, on defense. So, curious to know what you guys think about him. Would you be excited to see him come to West Virginia? Do you think here's what I was going to talk about him on defense again. Just the way he fights through the screen. Obviously, the kid did a nice job trying to pull up quick. It's just he's too big and athletic. Once again, finishing at the rim through contact. Again, it's something he does really well. So he's physically, and here's the thing too, physically, he's ready to play now. Like, he's ready now. And if you look at Kansas, he on his Kansas footage on some of the buckets he did get, he was finishing through contact at Kansas too. So it's definitely not a big shock. So I like it. That's why I have him rated so high as a 45.4 on my transfer impact meter, my hot piss meter, because he does so many things. Look at the defense, guys. Just, could you imagine him plugging him into Ross Hodge, who is known for defense? You got to know this is why they're recruiting him right away. He would help right away on the defensive side of the ball. Is he a Sincere Harris level defender? I think he could grow into something like that, but certainly not yet. But I mean, look at this defense, on what's probably a really good basketball player, I'm sure. I don't know much about that player, but there's a lot to like, right? So we'll keep an eye on this one. Hopefully West Virginia can get a visit out of it. There's some big players involved, but it's exciting. There's anytime you get a top 50, and I think there's a reason that you're not hearing about this. I think West Virginia thought, you know what, if we're going to bring in somebody that is developmental, we may as well do Braden Hawthorne, who is a in-state player, right? Might as well do that. Like, there's no reason to bring in this kid if we're going to do Hawthorne. That's not a coincidence that you see this come out the day after Braden Hawthorne decides to go to Kentucky, or 2 days after, or whatever it is. So I think West Virginia is probably putting their eggs in this basket now. And if what I was told they have to offer, they've got a really good chance to get this player, guys. So let me know how you think about it down below. Centers, are a whole nother ball wax, and I don't know what they're going to do there. Listen, they might maybe they ride Obi Oha and try to turn him into a 30 minutes per game kind of player. Right now, I think he's probably 19 minutes a game, right? That's what you're getting out of him. And then I think the theory I've talked to some people about is maybe you go small ball. But, I talked to a GM at another school just yesterday on the phone for probably an hour. And, what he was telling me was it's dangerous because Ross Hodge and company have talked about Houston so often publicly that it's a little dangerous because people are going to start comparing West Virginia to Houston. And it's probably not smart as far as, we've heard Ross Hodge say, listen, we want to build our team like Houston, right? We've heard him say that. And Houston is a small ball kind of team. They don't run around with a bunch of 7-footers, right? Like Jawan Roberts was 6'8", right? But he could rebound his ass off. And that's kind of, and they played with 5'10" guards, right? LJ Crier's 5'10", so that's the comparisons like I'm seeing here. And I'm just curious that maybe they're okay with running with Obioha, a 7-footer, and then and I'm speculating here. I don't have inside knowledge, but maybe they want to go small ball, and maybe that's not a great idea either. So I think it'll be interesting to see. I'm definitely not going to criticize anybody before I see what the roster looks like, and it's year one, so we can't expect too much, right? Like they can only do what they can only do. They've already spent $5-6 million, so I think they've done their due. And if they get this another top 50 player, I mean, there's a lot to like about this roster, even though it may not be what we all think it should be. I think they can put something nice together, especially if they add this player at the end. And then if they get another big, then you really got me hooked, because I think there's a lot to mold here. Be the most talent Hodge has ever had, I think, at one roster, So let's go to break. Might as well do that. And then we'll come right back and talk about Legend Bay. 4-star quarterback, has West Virginia in his top 5. And there's a lot to like there, too. We'll be right back. This is Locked On West Virginia. All right. And we are back here, Locked On West Virginia. Thank you guys for joining in. If you're just joining the program, guys, we just talked about Rake Passmore, Kansas transfer, who West Virginia is being mentioned along with South Florida, Alabama, Seton Hall. NC State is being mentioned, but most people think they have their eyes on bigger, more established targets, so maybe they won't go that route. If you didn't see today, Legend Bay, who is a 5'11", 185 quarterback out of North Forney High School in Mesquite, Texas, for next year, a 4-star rated in every category, Rivals 247. He's a top 25 quarterback. He's got Texas A&M, Tennessee, Ohio State, Duke, and West Virginia. So we're really up against it here, guys. But I know for sure he loved West Virginia's visit more than any other, from what I understand. So West Virginia's in this, and waiting on him to reply to me today, but I think West Virginia will end up in this top 2. I don't know if we'll beat out an Ohio State or a Tennessee. We may be out one or the other, but not both. But we maybe will, especially if we have a great year. Let's say Nico or Jalen have an incredible year this year, and he sees what this offense can do, like now in 2025. I think we got a great shot then. Let's get to the tail of the tape, though, because I think this is what most of us are waiting for here. I got my hot piss meter ready for this. So, athleticism is an 8 out of 10. He's electric, guys, in the open field. He's got above average speed, but he's really got a lot of quick burst in him. And he's got a compact frame and very elusive. Passing ability is 7 out of 10. Strong arm, good velocity on short to intermediate throws. But that deep ball consistency really needs some work. Running ability is 9 out of 10. He's elite as a runner. Really dangerous on design runs, scrambles, makes defenders miss in the open field. Like, that's what makes him a program changer. And program impact, I've got 8 out of 10. Like I said, he's got a potential to be a program changer for West Virginia. He's got a high ceiling as a dual threat leader, similar to like Pat White, and the recruitment buzz surrounding him. I've got that as a category on this, and that's 7 out of 10. I think there's strong interest from West Virginia, Ohio State, Tennessee. Probably should have made this an 8. I will make it an 8 in real time. Let's move that up to 8 out of 10, which, because I think the positive feedback on this kid is only going to grow. And he's got another year to see what maybe he can add to this, right? So there's a lot to like. But I'll say this. Let's just get to the tape. Let's just get to the tape. It can talk a lot better than I can. I found this on a Rivals site because I didn't want to have to go digging for anything. Sometimes it's really hard to find the most.
With Byberg Business Insurance, protecting what you've built is easy, efficient, affordable, seriously fast, and you only pay for the
Turn that
coverage
off.
you need. In fact, you can save up to 20%.
It's
Call or
like
get your quote
playing
at
double.
Byberg.com.
Really weird. Let's do this. Okay. I think we're okay now. All right. This is Legend Bay, guys. At quarterback. Here you can see him on a design run. Really, really strong runs through contact. I think he pulls away here. Yeah, he does. So as you can see, just runs through tackles like a true man and has speed to break away. That's probably put that on my highlight first as well. Here he is again. This is dropping back to pass. And you can see that deep ball. Very pretty deep ball on that play. But if you watch his game footage, like these are highlights, so you only see what he hit. On some of his game footage, he misses quite a few deep balls, which, a lot of quarterbacks do coming out. But here's what I'm talking about. Here's that quick burst, man. And he's really, he jumps around a lot, kind of like a running back, really. I'm sure he played running back at some point, but look at that quick burst to the outside. And this is in Texas, right? So, this kid would fit so well in what Rich Rod does as an offense. Like, it's not even – it's almost too exciting to think of what he could do for West Virginia. Oh, my God, a jump pass. I haven't seen this highlight yet. This is my first time seeing it, so we're watching this for the first time together. 1, 2, 3. Really beautifully done on the 3-step drop. But as you can see, running away, and, man, is he good in the open field. And he's got that extra gear that just kicks in, and it doesn't look like he's moving faster than everybody else sometimes, but boy, is he. And a lot of these are going to be running plays, but he throws a nice ball too. That's obviously going to be his biggest area for improvement right away. But for what Rich Rod does, you don't have to be a perfect precision quarterback. You don't. Pat White wasn't, although he got way better as his career went on. Denard Robinson wasn't. Tate Martell wasn't. A lot of these guys weren't. As you can see, though, one of the things he's going to have to get better at right away, what an amazing run this is. In college, though, obviously, let's roll this back a little bit. Okay. In college, that's blocked, right? There's a guy coming off the edge there, but if you're just in rhythm and you've got another second before this guy's going to get there. So it sucks because you kind of have to get hit on some throws in college, but this is pretty well blocked overall. Every guy's got a hat on a hat except maybe this guy, and he's still got a hand on him, driving him out. One of the things he's going to have to learn is to step up into the pocket just a little bit and keep his eyes downfield, because in college, you just can't scramble every time. You can't look down it's one of his major flaws that when quarterbacks can run, Garrett Green had the same issue. It takes a long time to teach him to slow the game down and keep your eyes downfield, because you can see here, he immediately starts to run, right? Once he gets his feet moving. So sometimes patience in the pocket can be, but look at the amazing athletic ability. So you're going to take it probably 7, 8 out of 10 times he's going to make a great play out of it. But there are sometimes you need your passing game to be working and your quarterback not to take hits. So pretty good job there. Nice drop, nice ball thrown in there. So he's got all the makings to be everything you could want and more in a quarterback. I'll be watching closely to see if West Virginia stays in this. I think as a fan base, we're all going to continue to recruit him, just like all the other fan bases will. But here's the thing. A kid like Legend Bay can go to Tennessee. He can go to Ohio State. And this is not a knock on him at all. But you're just another guy there. At West Virginia, you're the guy. Nico Markiel hasn't played very well for us. He's undefeated as a starter, but like he hasn't been what we thought he would be. We thought he would be much better faster, right? From what he was in high school as a 4-star, like we expected him to come in, or at least a lot of us did, right away and save the program. And look at the love he still gets all these years later now. 3-4 years later, Nico Markiel is still placed on this big pedestal and people love him. And I'm not saying he doesn't deserve it. I'm not saying he doesn't. He does. I'm just saying when you're a high-profile player and you come to West Virginia, you get treated like it. You are a celebrity from day one. And you can't offer that at Ohio State. You can't. What a play. If I had a quarterback like that, I might run this play every time. Who's going to outrun him? Look, you got 11 guys in the box, and you got one guy to block the first guy, and he's going to outrun every other angle to the end zone. Pretty crazy. That's a crazy call as a coach on 4th and 1. So here he is, and it's exactly what you would do. This is exactly a play we run. We run this play at West Virginia. And look, I mean, these linebackers are so confused, and he reads the blocks really well. But, like, this guy, this is a safety, right? Outruns him. So, there's a lot to love about Legend Bay, and glad to see West Virginia in his top 5. Absolutely think that they've done a great job recruiting this kid so far. We'll see where it goes. Obviously money's a factor here, but when it comes to these 4-star players, it's like it'd be different if we were fighting for a 5-star player. Then I would say there's almost no way financially we're able to keep up, right? But being that he's a 4-star player, they don't get the same level of attention financially. And the big programs sometimes, unless they're just in love with them, are kind of willing to let them go. I like Ohio State or Tennessee or Texas A&M. I totally forgot about them, who may be the real favorite because he's from Texas. It's going to be hard to beat all them out, guys, but we'll see what happens. The fact that we're in his top 5 says a lot, man. We'll see what happens. All right, guys, that's all I got. Appreciate you for joining in. We'll keep an eye on that Kansas transfer. That's going to be fun to see what happens with Rake Passmore, and wishing him the best. Also with Legend Bay, and congratulations to the baseball team who are off to the quarterfinals. Very much well-deserved for the team. Be keeping an eye on that too and see what they do. Great job. Pitched a complete game, guys. What an excellent job today. What we needed that so badly. And I don't know. Like, for me, it's like, I just think that this team had such a bad ending to the year, and Griffin came in and just absolutely shut Cincinnati down. All we needed was one run. After Cincinnati went up 1-0, we surpassed that to 2-1. That's all we needed. Griffin had it from the rest of the way, man. So 129 total pitches. What a great performance today from Griffin Kern. And we'll continue to watch that too. Maybe I should do a video on it, but I've done baseball videos in the past, and they don't seem to produce. Let me see, if we get into the finals, I'll absolutely start to cover it more, because we'll be, I think we got to win this tournament to be considered for the regionals, and that still may be dead, but we'll see where it goes. Thanks for making Locked On West Virginia your first listen, guys, and being a part of the Locked On Podcast Network. We talk about your team, the Mountaineers, every single day. If you could do me a favor, though, I don't like to ask for a lot, but the portal is a great, great, great place to go check your stuff out. If you like the portal, Brian Smith has the latest rumors, portal entries, signings, and you can be the most informed fan on the rapid changes to the college football landscape. Find the portal on YouTube or wherever you listen to your podcast, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Hey, look, Rake Passmore could become a Mountaineer, and if he does, I'll be excited. Legend Bay could be a Mountaineer. If he's one, I'll be very excited. We'll keep you guys up to date on both of those. But until then, this episode's over, and I'm out.